Howdy folks, Danny from BullDogSmithFarms back with another video knife review. And today I have got one of my favorite knives. One of my favorite knives, period. And definitely, I think my favorite from this brand. At least folder. Yeah. So far, anyway. Although, I don't know, there's so many I like. Today I've got the Benchmade TaggedOut. Tagged out, y'all. Tagged out. We done tagged out for the year. Of course, one of the out series from Benchmade. It's bug out, shoot out, tagged out, bail out. There's a lot of outs in the Benchmade family. And they all have something in common. They're all lightweight, easy to EDC, but they all have a little different purpose, you know. They all fit a little bit different little different genre. So, you know, where your bug out is really small, perfect EDC, drop point, you know, thin, light. Well, your tagged out is thin too, light, thin blade stock, and you know, very similar in a lot of ways. You know, the overall silhouette is similar, same sort of lanyard hole at the rear. You know, axis lock like most all Benchmades these days, but with a nice clip point blade, which reminds you of a hunting blade, a good skinning blade, but with a nice sharp tip for that kind of good get in there in little spots detail work, skinning or caping out a deer's head. There's a lot of really fine little detail in there. You don't want to be cutting holes. You know, it's bad enough if you cut a hole in his neck, but at least he's got hair there to cover. But on his face, it's really hard to fix a cut. I did taxidermy for a long time. It's really hard to fix that. It's really impossible. Well, I don't know. If you want to spend a lot of money, maybe, right? A new cape that ain't your deer, you know. But the tagged out is, I just love the way it opens, and you know, you got that flippy action. So, just a really great knife, because you can EDC this knife easy. It's thin in your pocket. It's lightweight. I mean, really light, especially, I mean, you know, or carbon fiber. I mean, hunter orange. You know, and carbon fiber, I couldn't resist that. You know what I'm saying? Could not resist the blaze orange and the carbon fiber. I just had to have that. And these beautiful orange accents, like this awesome back spacer and lanyard hole. It's just a cool knife. And the sort of, you know, shape of the handles, and you've got like a little grip there, little kind of place for your thumb. Nice jimping on the top, on the blade. Really nice aggressive jimping, but not to the point where it's going to take meat off, you know. But also, you've got jimping right here in this liner, so you've got grip back here too. It's not quite like it is on the blade, but it doesn't just leave you slipping back here and, you know, you have to get to the blade to get grip. Now it does help, but you even have grip back here. Nice thumb hole. It could be, the blade could be a little bit taller right there for my hand conditions, because I could use a little bit more hole there in opening it. Because with arthritis, you know, all this stuff, I have a little hard time getting in there to it. You know, I kind of almost have to get at it. Now with my left hand, not near as bad. I can get in there with it. So that's just something that's unique to how my hands work these days. Because a lot of times if I'm having a little trouble with like a opening hole with my right hand, I can move to my left hand and it's easy for me. So that tells me it's just got something to do with all the problems that I have in my right hand. And I'm right-handed, so that, you know, that's not ideal. But, you know, adapt and overcome, right? You adapt and overcome. If I have to open that knife with that hand, that ain't that big a deal. And I don't have to, you know. And hey, we used to open every blade like this. It ain't like, you know, it ain't like I'm living in Africa, you know, in the desert with nothing to eat. I mean, it's just, it's having to, maybe at worst case scenario, you actually got to grab the blade right there and open it. Oh, Lord, I don't know if I'm going to make it through that, y'all. That's difficult, you know. See, this is just kind of stuff like that. Like, see, I've got to, like, get in there with my fingernail to get a hold of that axis lock because issues, you know. I've got issues, y'all. But if I can get that blade just open a little bit, I got it. But it's that first little bit right there that my thumb just, it's really hard for me to get the right angle on things, and I want to slip, you know. That ain't gonna affect 99.9999999% of y'all. It's just something to do with me. But I love this carbon fiber. You know, I would have thought I would like any carbon fiber, but I don't like a lot of the carbon fiber I see on some knives like ZTs, that just flat slab of carbon fiber. But the way that Benchmade does their carbon fiber with you know, 3-dimensional milling, and the way that interacts with carbon fiber, I love. A lot of people do that, you know, it's not just them, but I don't know if they use a higher grade of carbon fiber, but their carbon fiber is fantastic. And I love it because it's lightweight, but it's really strong. So I don't have to worry about this thing. I drop it and dadgum, I run over it with my truck. It's probably just fine, you know. Grivery, I'm getting worried, right? Because Grivery gives on you. This ain't got no give. I don't care if that backspacer wasn't there. There ain't no give to that at all. Now, it does weigh a little bit more with carbon fiber than it does with Grivery. So if your, if your whole thing is, I want the absolute lightest version of it that they make, because you're shaving ounces, and those few ounces matter more to you, hiking up daggum mountains to elk hunt. By all means, that Grivery will work just fine. It won't it? But, for the most part, carbon fiber, super light, with a lot of strength. So that knife is going to get you through a whole lot of bad days. This knife, just in general, the form and function of this knife is going to get you through a lot of stuff. I'm going to read some stats to you. Let's see what they say, because they're probably saying what I say. The Benchmade TaggedOut is an ultra-light axis lock folding hunting EDC knife, approximately 2.1 to 2.5 ounces. We'll get to that. Featuring a 3.5 inch or a 3.04 inch for the mini, but tagged out. Clip point blade. I love clip point blades. I mean, I just love them. I love Buck 110. These things go back into your DNA of your, when you were growing and learning to like things. It features premium steel options. This one's Magna Cut, which I love that. And you might not, and that's all right. If you like different steels, that's okay. I love Magna Cut, and I like a lot of other steels too. You can also get it in LMAX, which I think is pretty cool, and I was not finding to find one of them. And they're saying S45E, and I don't know if I've ever seen that one, but maybe I have. Seems like maybe there's a Blade HQ one that has that. There's what wasn't that? That's a tagged out that they released this winter. That was like a special deal with green handles, which I really liked. Tan blade, I think. Of course, I like that. But you can't buy everything. And a 0.09 inch thin high performance blade. That is pretty thin blade stock on what is essentially a really light Buck 110 in many ways, but much thinner blade stock, much lighter, but in form to some degree, and function, very similar knife. And various handle materials including Grivery, G10, or carbon fiber. Let's see, specifications for a standard tagged out is blade length is 3.48 inches. That's a good bit of blade right there. And weight is 2.1 ounces in Grivery, and it's 2.5 ounces in carbon fiber. It's a little bit heavier than Grivery. Like I said, if you want the absolute, I mean, that's what 3/10 of an ounce, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4/10 of an ounce lighter. getting close to half an ounce there. And I know when you're counting ounces, man, ounces make pounds. So that's just something to remember. The overall length is 8.13. So this is a good full size, full handle, a little bit left over. So if you got even bigger hands than me, and I don't have big hands, you got plenty. And you can choke up on this guy some, you know. You got a little bit of a choil there. Not much, really just sharpening choil, you know, not really a choke up choil. But it does give you the ability to kind of get up there as long as you just don't accidentally slide forward on that blade, because this would be a bad day. But and this guy is sticky sharp. I mean, sticky sharp. I'll get me a piece of paper here in a minute. And let's see, 8.13 to 8.15 inches. The blade material CPM MagnaCut comes in at 60 to 62 HRC. I could handle that being just a hair. That 60, you know, 61 to 63 would be better. 62 to 64 maybe. A little bit more, but I don't think they're having no heat treat problems over at the butterfly shop. And L Max, it comes in at 59 to 61. I'm not as familiar with L Max as far as the sort of perfect spot, you know. We worry about these numbers a little bit too much sometimes, I think. Blade thickness is 0.09, like I said, or that is 2.29 millimeters. Now, the handle material can be grivery, and it says it comes in tan and olive, and it also comes in, seems like there's been a couple other colors. Yeah, like a light color. I think that's grivery. And I know in the and it comes in G10, and I know you can get that in a hunter orange, I'm 99% sure, and a olive green, which I really like, and I think it has orange accents too. Not an orange blade, but a orange like accent. I love it, green and orange together, and green and tan. Or you can get it in carbon fiber, you know. The lock movement is axis lock. And the pocket clip's a mini deep carry clip. Y'all think that mini deep carry's fine on that big a handle? Looks a little small on this knife. Now, I typically love that clip, and I don't think it's going to get away from you. I did have Benchmade get away from me one time. I think it fell right out of my pocket. It was an assisted opening knife. Can't even remember which one it was, but it had an orange handle. Cannot remember which model that was. It was about 2017. Should go back and research that. Let's see. Okay, then we get into the mini. The minis, the specs. So this, there you go. That is your Benchmade TaggedOut. And if you are like, I think maybe I want me a bug out, I wish it was a little bit more of a hunting knife, they got one. If you're like, you know, I really like the look of that bug out, but I wish it was a little more tactical, they got one. If you're like, you know, I really like a bug out, but I wish it was an out the front, they got one. And I want to get that shootout, that green, that Tiger green this year. I'm really digging that color and that tan. And I from everything I've heard, the blade texture on it's sort of tumbled, and people are saying they like it more than the same exact colors on the bench or the bug out, but it's not tumbled. So I'm gonna trust them, because I bet you they're right. I bet this looks cooler with that tumbled finish. But y'all, what do you think about Benchmade TaggedOut? Do you have one? Have you ever messed with one? Do you have one and you love it? Do you have one and you just don't like it that much? You know, we're all different. I love it. And when I first got this thing, I just thought this was the best thing since sliced bread and fried taters. I mean, this thing's awesome. You put it in your pocket and it's gone. You're like, dadgum, no, it's still there. Dang, I lost my knife. No, it's still there. That one time I was like, dang, I lost my knife and it was gone. That one hurt, man. That was, I think, $160 in 2017. That hurt me bad. Love the snap. Love the snap. See, looky here. See, I just can't. It just gets to me. Put it over here, and bam, I got it. Not super easy. Not as easy as it would be for 99% of y'all, but you know, I can do it. So I love the flow. Love the flow of that handle. I just love everything about this knife. So y'all tell me what you think about it down in the comments, and don't forget, y'all will probably be seeing this tomorrow on Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. We're gonna go live and we're gonna do a little giveaway, and I'm ending at 8 o'clock because right after I'm done, you can jump right over to Wyvern Kodiak, and they got a special guest coming on, and I hear it's going to be good. I'm going to jump over there too and hang out, because I usually try to, because I really like them guys. And they're good guys. They're very helpful guys. So you ought to go get you one. Now, you think that knife's a little big. You know, I don't know about just carrying that all the time. Even though it's lightweight and it's thin, and yeah, that blade gets you a long way down the road. I mean, you sure could do a lot with that blade. You know, but I don't know. It's just a little bit big. What about a mini one? Huh? What about a mini one? Huh? How about that? You want to see all that? Come back on the next video and I'm going to show you this one. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'll tell you what I like about it. And if there's some stuff I don't like about it, I'll tell you that too. 'Cause I'm going to tell you the truth either way. These people don't pay me. They don't give me no knives neither. And even if they did, they're going to hear the truth, like it or not. So y'all come back next time and we'll look at a mini tagged out Benchmade. And we'll see you next time. You promised me now. At BullDogSmithFarms. Bye.